Morning guys, I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. Continuing on our series about being successful and talking about things for social media. One of the most important things that we talked about was be an expert with your iPhone. And so what I want to talk to you about today is a little bit about photography and videography with your iPhone. You know, there are people out there in the community that would have you believe that to be successful and to take good videos and to take good photographs for social media, you've got to have thousands of dollars in equipment, and that is absolutely not true. Last year, in fact, there was a very popular Hollywood producer who shot a full cinema feature horror movie on nothing but iPhone 8 Pluses. So you can shoot cinema quality video on an iPhone. You just have to have the right editing software, the right control software within the phone. You can't use the onboard camera app to get that kind of quality. But most newer iPhones, from probably 7, 8 to the 10, all will shoot 4K video. And they will all shoot, obviously, 1080 at variable frame speeds. And you can change all those things up as you learn what you're doing. But to start off with, if you've got that simple iPhone in your pocket, there are some really simple tips and tricks with the onboard camera app that I'm going to show you in this video to help you be more successful on social media and on YouTube with your videos and photos. So we're going to go over that in a few minutes. Right now, I'm actually going to turn my camera on for a second here, and I'm going to show you what I'm shooting this video with, because I'm actually shooting this video because I'm going to have the iPhone featured in this video. I'm shooting this video with about an $1,800, $1,900 Canon XA10 video camera, which I've used many times to shoot videos. But for the past year or year and a half, I've used nothing but my iPhone to shoot videos. Again, that camera's not important to this discussion because it sits in a box on the bottom shelf in my shed. The majority of the time, I don't use it. I use this 99.99% of the time. Now, things that you need with this iPhone. Again, you can take very good footage with the onboard camera app, and we'll talk about some of that in a few minutes. But it's not enough just to have this camera. If you're going to try to shoot vlogs or YouTube videos and things like that, you need a few peripheral accessories, but you don't need anything that's going to add up to near what a good Canon DSLR would cost or a good video camera like this Canon XA10. You can get away with a whole lot less money because you probably already own the iPhone, so you just need to buy a few peripherals. Let's talk about that real quick, okay? One of the things that I carry with me a lot is this tripod. And I'm going to put some links down at the bottom to where you can buy this stuff on Amazon, obviously from my Amazon store, so that if you buy it, I get a percentage of it. That's something that you'll learn about shooting YouTube videos, is putting links below your video to direct links into your Amazon store, so that when people buy these items off Amazon, you get a percentage of that sale. This is a Manfrotto tripod, and this is like a gorilla type tripod. It's got bendy legs on it so that you can wrap it around whatever you want to in the woods to get a good stable shot, a branch, a fence post, whatever the case may be. You can also get it down on the ground and manipulate it however you need to get the shot. It's got a full pivoting head on the top of it, and it has a pivot here so that you can get the camera pitch exactly like you want it. This thing is probably less than 30 bucks, all right? Once you have that, you need a mount for your iPhone. Again, I recommend this Manfrotto mount that's spring-loaded. You open the clip on the back, it's spring-loaded. So you just clip it over the top of your phone, just like this, lock it down, push the clip down, and you're good. Now, once you've got this clip on here, you can attach it to any tripod you want to attach it to, whether it's a flexible tripod like this, whether it's a small tabletop tripod like this Manfrotto, again, 20, 25 bucks, or whether it is a full-on larger tripod like this one, which is a Manfrotto carbon fiber tripod, which I like to carry because it doesn't weigh very much, and it will get full height so you can stand up and talk in front of it like I'm doing now with a larger Manfrotto heavier tripod for a heavier camera. This will hold anything up to a DSLR very easy, and it doesn't weigh a whole lot, so it's easy to pack around. I also have a Manfrotto monopod, And you don't need all of this. You really don't. This has got a movable head on the top of it as well, so that you can put your camera on top of it as long as you have it on a mount like this. Screw it down and you can hold on to this then to use this to pivot sweeping shots and things like that, or you can just stick it in the ground and use it as a monopod to shoot in front of like this. So this is a very easy thing to carry, and it can be used as a hiking pole at the same time, or a tent pole. Of course, you could do the same thing with the tripod for your tent, but you're not going to want to use that as a hiking pole. So any of those items is not a big deal, and really you only need one to start off with, because you can find a branch or tree high enough, if you want to talk here, to wrap this around and put your phone on it. Now, what's important is this mount itself, okay? One thing that you really want with this mount is you want to make sure that you have a shoe on the top of this mount where you can put an external microphone. External microphone is the next thing that's important. Now, you can get an external microphone for 25 bucks on Amazon, like this one right here, excuse me, like this one. And I actually carried this one with me over in Budapest in Hungary this last week. Because it's so small, I can put it into this smaller case that I used to carry a few of my other accessories. We'll talk about that in a minute. When I'm in the field here, or when I'm shooting, generally what I use is I use a Rode microphone, a Rode miniature microphone like this one. And what you do with this is, it's very simple. You have to buy an adapter for it to plug into your iPhone, a lightning adapter. But what happens with that is now you can then attach this in that shoe straight up over the top, so that you have an external microphone that's going to block any wind and things like that while you're shooting. And when you combine that with this setup, now you have something that you can hold on to while you're shooting. You can talk into it if you want to look at the screen. You can face the camera forward. And a lot of times what I'll do with this, just a little trick for you, is I'll set my camera up, I'll turn my camera on, and what I will do if I'm vlogging or something like that is I'll face the camera forward like this, away from me, with the mic plugged in, to catch footage on the fly. And then if I want to talk into the camera, I just flip it around. But I always keep the mic facing me, so that when I'm talking into the camera, the mic's always picking up, because I don't need that much external noise when I'm trying to film something out here. This works really good for that. And you can just flip back and forth on the screen, and you can see what you have in here when you're talking, and you can also see what you have in there when you flip it the other direction. So it makes it very valuable for that. That's a simple, easy setup. And you can get into a setup like this, which is enough to shoot any videos you want to shoot for the cost of your iPhone. Like I said, about a $30 tripod, about a $40, $45 good microphone, or a $25, $20 one will work just fine. And then again, a mount for your phone that has a shoe on it to put your mic into. Those are really the three main components you need: tripod, external mic, phone mount with a shoe for the microphone. If you have those three things, you're ready to start shooting tomorrow, for sure. Okay, so real quick, let's talk about a couple other accessories that you can use to up your game. All right, the first one is something like this, and this just is the same type mount that holds your camera, that you can snap onto your camera, but it gives you two handles that you can hold on to get a steadier shot. You can also put it on a tripod, and it has three different shoes on it in case you want to plug a light bar into it to get shots in the evening or something like that. Again, doesn't cost very much. Things like 20 bucks on Amazon. I'll try to get a link to that as well. Now, again, multiple tripods are a good idea in the end, for sure. A little bit better microphone, good idea in the end for sure. The other thing that I would recommend is what's called Moment lenses. Okay, and Moment is a company that makes lenses that fit on your iPhone. Now these are going to run you 100 bucks. So these aren't the cheapest thing on the planet. They're about 100 bucks a lens. You have to buy a special case or a special mount for your phone that these plug into. But all you're doing is, this is a wide angle lens here for the camera, or for the phone camera on the phone, excuse me. Now again, you know, these lenses are very simple to put on and off on this moment's case. And you can get different lenses. I own 2 of them. I have a 3rd one on order. I have a macro lens, which will actually give you really, really up close pictures of things, like if you're trying to shoot someone's eye, or you're trying to take a macro shot of like a leaf or something like that. I'll show you that too on the camera as well. So here is the camera with the Moment wide angle lens. You can see almost the entire outhouse in that picture. This is the exact same spot standing. Now you can only see about half of the outhouse. So that tells you the frame expansion you get with that wide angle. Okay, so I have a little maple seed in my hand here. And if you've seen a maple seed before, you know what they look like. So if I take my camera and I put it up on top of that maple seed, right up on top of it to try to get a photo, you won't hardly get focus right up on top of it. You got to pull pretty far away from it to get the camera to focus. With the macro lens on here, it's a whole different ball game. With the macro lens, you can lay that right up on top of it, right on the table, almost like a microscope, and hit the record button, and you'll see the difference immediately. So it really depends on what you're trying to do with your camera, whether these lenses are something you want or you don't want. If you're using them for things like mushroom spores and things like that, you may want this. If you're done to do up close stuff, you may want this. If you're not, it's $100 you don't need to spend. They have a wide angle, they have a super fisheye, they have this macro lens, and they have an anamorphic lens, which gives you a very cinematic look to your video. Again, unnecessary add-on for what we're talking about, but if you want to up your game, this is a way to do it without buying a $2,000 camera lens for a DSLR. Okay, the last thing we should talk about is a gimbal, and gimbals are about $150. Again, it's an unnecessary add-on, but if you want to up your game, this will do it. This is an Osmo Pro. This one needs a counterweight add-on for this phone because this phone's a little heavier. But what happens is you activate the gimbal, and it brings your phone up to a steady position so that anywhere you move, the phone stays where you have it pointed and it holds it still. It'll move a little bit, pan left to right, very, very gently, so that in the edit, your stuff doesn't look jerky and you don't have to use an external program to stabilize your shot. And you can make it track certain things in images as well. And anywhere you move, the camera will track that image. Again, unnecessary add-on, but to up your game, if you're doing traveling shots and things like that, this is the ticket. You can also put this thing, let me turn it off real quick. You can also plug this ring right into a tripod. The last thing I'll tell you with these iPhones is, anytime you buy an iPhone, it's going to come with a set of headphones. Most people I know toss those things, throw them in a junk drawer or whatever, and get a pair that's more comfortable than these are in your ears. Don't get rid of these. We're going to talk about in a minute how to use these to your advantage. So don't get rid of them because they're going to come in handy. Keep those with your stuff.